Hey guys, Ballock here, and we're going to go over our Week 2 game in the Moltres division of the IPA here in Season 2. This week we were going up against a buddy of mine, Wapathet, and let's hop into the matchup. So, this week, you can see the teams here on the screen. We are facing a sand team of sorts, having Tyranitar and then Mega Garchomp. And one of the big buffs that Mega Garchomp got with the DLC leaks is access to Scale Shot. So that makes Mega Garchomp much scarier, in my opinion, especially if he has Sand Up with the Sand Force ability. If he's got a +1 speed boost, able to outspeed a lot of things and hit super hard with his ground stabs. So not looking forward to dealing with that. So I'm almost positive that he's going to bring Garchomp, Incineroar, Slowbro, and Crobat. Crobat's there to effectively hit things like Rillaboom and Sylveon on my team. Plus, he's got access to things like Defog, Roost, Super Fang is something that I'm a little worried about. Being able to take big chunks out of things like Mega Aggron or Mew right off the bat. And then he's also got Cross Poison. So, definitely he's going to bring Crobat. Slowbro is kind of a no-brainer on his part just because of just the sheer physical wall that it is, being able to check things like Mega Aggron, Rillaboom to an extent, Hitmonlee, Cloyster. They're not going to be able to do anything to him. And so I think it's probably pretty obvious that I'm going to bring Mega Aggron and Rillaboom. So Slowbro being there to just kind of check those to an extent, I think it's going to be really valuable for him. So I expect him to bring that. And then Incineroar, again, to the same point, being able to check my physical threats with Intimidate and being able to outspeed, well, maybe outspeed things like Galurk, and just deal with, Mega Aggron, Rillaboom, Galurk, and to an extent, Rotom, Heat, and Salazzle. I think it's invaluable for him this week. So I think those are the four that he needs to bring in order to have the best matchup against me. And then I think he's probably going to bring Tyranitar just to help out his Mega Garchomp. Ditto I have in that maybe group just because the threat of a Shell Smash Cloyster is something that could probably just about sweep him, save maybe his Slowbro. However, just the threat of a Shell Smash Cloyster running through his team, I think is enough for him to convince him to bring Ditto, just so that he doesn't lose to that. And then last week he actually he put Gourgeist #1 on the kill board with just a simple Toxic Stall set, and so Gourgeist actually doesn't have a bad matchup against me, and I can definitely see him bringing one of the variants of the Gourgeist. And something that I learned this season about Gourgeist that I guess nobody was really hiding it, but it was just something that you don't really think about until maybe you have to go up against it or you see it in somebody else's battle. But Gourgeist has the ability to run super small or average sizes each and every week, so he could play around with the HP and attack or speed stats based on what variation of the Gourgeist that he brings. So that's something that's kind of have to keep in mind when I'm in battle, just paying attention to what variation he brought. But that's something that's kind of cool. It makes me really appreciate Gourgeist a little more. That it's something that I may want to run in the future. It also has access to things like Power Whip and Poltergeist, so it's definitely a potent attacker in its own right, if he decides to bring it as such. So something that I got to watch out for and game plan for. Swallow has a great matchup against me, being able to run things like Boom Burst and Heat Wave, or if he wants to go with a Guts, Brave Bird, U-Turn, Roost, Defog set. Swallow I think has a good matchup in this game as well. And then I really don't anticipate bringing Togedemaru, Cobalion, or Hatterene. Just the threat of Mega Aggron and then Galurk kind of deters those three. Galurk, I believe, can kind of one-shot all of them, or at least pretty dang close. And I think Cobalion's the only one that can't one-hit KO. And then Rillaboom, or Mega Aggron, just doesn't care about any of them, honestly. Even with a Sword Stance Boost Companion, I don't think he's going to be doing too much damage to Mega Aggron, and then he's able to just take him out with a Body Press. So, getting to my side, I definitely want to bring Mew, Mega Aggron, Rillaboom, and Galaric. Galaric is definitely a must-bring in this match just because he's got Poltergeist, Dynamic Punch, and Stone Edge. Those 3 moves, in addition to maybe Protect or Stealth Rocks or something like that, with the No Guard ability, I think are going to be huge. The dynamic Punch will be nice for the Incineroar. Poltergeist is going to be huge for things like his Slowbro or Hatterene if he does decide to bring it, and Gourgeist, and even in the odd, in the case that he brings Ditto, the mirror matchup that way, and then high horsepower is going to be good for Tyranitar. Well, actually no, Dynamic Punch is going to be hitting Incineroar and Tyranitar. Forgot about that. And then a Stone Edge was the other move I got, or that I'm thinking of is bringing, and it'll be there for things like Swallow and Crobat, and then Stealth Rocks just for the, again, that's not, we'll get into the team in a second, but just Galaric has a great matchup in this week, and I think it's definitely a must bring in this matchup. And then the 4 that I'm thinking about bringing are Exploud, Sylveon, Hitmonlee, and Cloyster. I'm not necessarily too sure about those ones. The argument for Exploud is that he's got a lot of great physical walls. His Incineroar and Slowbro are really good physical tanks, but outside of those, his special tanks aren't the greatest. I think Exploud has a good opportunity to fire out some pretty strong Boom Bursts, maybe Focus Blast if he connects. Ice Beam looks really good in this one, and yeah. And then Sylveon's there for good Cleric support. We may need it this week. And then Hyper Voice is going to hit things like Tyranitar and Mega Garchomp extremely hard. And then Hitmonlee, Cloyster there for the Rapid Spin support. I don't know that we just necessarily need the Unburden ability, so we may bring Cloyster this week instead. And just opt for a Shell Smash set, but we'll see. I gotta think about that a little more. And then I definitely don't see bringing Salazzle, Rotom or Guja. I just don't think they have a good matchup. I think, having things that are faster than Salazzle kind of deters me from bringing them. And then Rotom Fan is tempting. Ultimately, you know what? Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I might have to think a little more about Rotom Fan. It's kind of tempting in this one, but then Gudra and Rotom Fan just because he got the stab special electric attacks for Crobat, Slowbro, Swallow. Those things might come in handy, and then the Air Slash for Quailion. Those might be nice. But we'll see. And then Gudra, I don't see his Garchomp is gonna be faster than it. It's gonna knock it out right away with that Dragon Claw. It might be nice for things like Slowbro or Crobat or Gourgeist or anything really that takes any of the main elemental attacks like Ice Beam, Flamethrower, Thunderbolt, Surf. But ultimately, I think Gudra's a little slow for this matchup and very frail physically, and his team is definitely very, very heavily built on the physical attacker, so I don't see Gudra being a viable bring this week. So those are the teams. That's the matchup, and let's get into the team that I'm bringing this week. Alright, we are starting this week off with Joe the Rillaboom holding a Choice Band with the Grassy Surge ability. We're going to run him with U-Turn, Grassy Glide, High Horsepower, and Drain Punch. He's going to have 252 attack EVs with an Adamant Nature just to maximize our damage output, especially for Grassy Glides. And then we're going to run 152 speed EVs and 100 in defense. And I forget the speed benchmark that I'm looking for with Rillaboom this week, but ultimately I'm just looking to ultimately, what I'm usually looking to do is just hit some speed benchmark to make sure I'm outspeeding some threat, and then put the rest into one attack stat or defense stat, whatever I want to maximize out, and then spill the rest left over into other just substitute or just filter categories. So I hit my speed benchmark with 152. I forget what it is exactly. It might be Tyranitar. and then we put the all but 4 EVs into defense to maximize our defensive output. Actually, it might be Incineroar. That would make more sense, I think. That I want to make sure that outspeed was Incineroar. And then just put one EV point, 4 EV points to get 1 more stat into our special defense. And called it really good for this week. Next up, we've got Sentry. Like I said, we definitely need to bring him this week. He's got such a great matchup. And the first time we're bringing him off the bench is a tier 5 threat. I'm really excited to get some mileage out of Galaric this season. Being in tier 5, I think he's kind of slept on. And I think he's going to turn some heads. He may not be tier 5 next season. I would honestly be a little bit surprised. But he's going to hold Colbur Berry with no guard ability, and we're giving him Dynamic Punch, Poltergeist, Stealth Rocks, and Stone Edge. Dynamic Punch is there for things like Incineroar and Tyranitar. Poltergeist for basically everything that doesn't resist it. It's going to hit super hard. And then Stone Edge is there for things like Incineroar if we need to get a little more damage, or if it does provide more damage, we'll see. But definitely there for Swallow and Crobat. Those are the main things that's there for. Having no guard, we're guaranteed to hit those, and that's pretty big. With a pretty high chance for crit. So we're going to go with 252 attack EVs with a Jolly Nature, 248 speed EVs to make sure that we outspeed something that I can't remember what it is right now. And then put 4 on defense and special defense. And that is our Sentry for this week. Next up, we got our Inside Boys coming to the party. We're going to have Expo holding a Chopley Berry with Soundproof ability. And Soundproof is there just so if he wants to bring Swallow with Boom Burst, it's not going to be able to do anything to us. And then we'll be able to hit him with an Icy Wind and outspeed him to finish him off with our own Boom Burst. So we've got Boom Burst, Surf, Icy Wind, and Focus Blast for our attacks. Icy Wind is there for things like Garchomp or anything else that really outspeeds us. And then Focus Blast is there for Tyranitar and Incineroar, and Boom Burst and Surf are there just for spread damage. Boom Burst is going to hit everything really hard except for his Gourgeist, and just really looking for X-Blood put in some work. Crossing my fingers on Focus Blast, not missing it all this week. But we're going to go with 252 special attack and hit our speed benchmark with 200 speed EVs and a Timid Nature, and then 56 defensive Vs to maximize our physical bulk. Next up, we've got Mew Girl, and she is going to hold the Leftovers with the Synchronized ability. And I like looking at this matchup. Like, Mew is going to be the star of the show this week. Like, so looking at his team, he has no answers aside from Ditto. If he brings Ditto, I have to be careful about it and make sure that he doesn't just like bring his Ditto in and beat me. But even in that case, I think Mew is going to have a fantastic match against Ditto just because we're bringing Cosmic Power, and he doesn't copy the HP stats. So I think Mew is this set of Mew is probably the safest sweeping set ever. Having the max HP with the timid max speed, and then 4 special attack, bringing the Cosmic Power, Roost, Stored Power, and Body Press. Firing off super strong physical fighting and special psychic moves. Like he doesn't have many answers for it. And so once we're able to get up a few Cosmic Powers, we're able to tank pretty much everything, roost our health back, and then just demolish him. So that's our goal for this week. And everything else is just kind of chipping things down in a way where it threatens them or it puts them in range for a quicker sweep from Mew. But Mew is definitely like this is Mew's week. It's gotta be. like the matchup is just too juicy for Mew with this set. So Mew Girl is looking to set up and roll some heads. Next up, we've got InGen, our Mega Aggron. He is going to run Heavy Slam, Avalanche, Body Press, and High Horsepower with the Sturdy ability before Mega Evolving. Avalanche is there for Mega Aggron and Crobat. They're going to hit him faster, and then so what Avalanche does is if he takes damage before he gets to attack, Avalanche's power is doubled to a 120 base power attack. So one Avalanche on both of those is going to knock them out outright, and the other moves are Heavy Slam just for basic stab coverage against something like Katarine, or Swallow, or Avalanche is there for Swallow, but his Slowbro and the rest of his team basically, and then Body Press is there for Tyranitar and Incineroar, and then if he wants to bring in Ditto to copy, Body Press is going to do nicely there as well, and then High Horsepower is there just for whatever else. any ground threats or any threats that are weak to ground. If he decides to copy, nothing on my team actually, besides Mega Aggron. If he decides to copy Mega Aggron, body press or high horsepower may hit better. I'm not sure. It'll probably be body press. I don't know why I have high horsepower on this set. It kind of seems like a waste of move space. Something else could probably take that spot and be better served, like maybe Stealth Rocks or something. But yeah, we'll see. I may play around with that leading up to the battle. But we're just gonna run the same EV and nature from last week. The 248 HP, 60 attack, and 200 special defense with a careful nature. This is our mega tank, and we're treating him as such. So that is Engine. Next up, and last but not least, we have Peach, our Sylveon. She's gonna hold up a Berry and Pixelite, and she's going to have Hyper Voice, Mystical Fire, Wish, and Protect. The Berry is there to take things like Iron Head from Cobalion or Togedemaru, just in case he does bring them. It's also going to do well in case his Ditto wants to copy my Engine. And then what we're going to be able to do is hit things like any of his special attackers with Mystical Fire to weaken their special attack and basically just Wish pass. Or keep Sylveon healthy yourself, and then fire back some strong Hyper Voices to kind of whittle things down, or just remove them outright, like what we would for Mega Garchomp or Tyranitar. So we're gonna run max physical bulk. Maybe I should change it to a bold nature. Well, I probably should. But we're gonna run 252 speed or HP EVs, 252 defense, 4 in special attack with a calm nature. It probably should be bold. But that is the team for this week, and I will see you guys at the battle. Hey guys, so here we are. This is the battle, Ballhog versus Wobbuffet, and let's just hop into it. So he decides to lead off his Incineroar as we lead off with our Galurk, and the Intimidate is unfortunate, but I didn't feel too deterred to just stand there and fire off a Dynamic Punch, knowing that we would get the confusion. Unfortunately for us, he gets the Dark Lariat off, and it does so much damage. Thankfully, we had a Clover Berry, so that tells me right away his Incineroar is banded. And I did not expect that at all coming into this week. So he decides to bring that out, or switch that out into Crobat right away, as we decide to bring in our Mega Aggron now. Perfect opportunity to get him in for free and Mega Evolve. And this was a heat set. Rocky Helmet Slowbro was a perfect counter to Mega Aggron. I mean, he just one Seismic Toss got him down by like half. So I did not like that at all, as he decides to bring his Incineroar back and we switch out to Mew. So wanting to keep Mew healthy and preserve it, I decided to switch out and go into Sylveon, knowing that his Darkest Lariat isn't going to do much at all. And so we're able to fire off a Wish to maintain health, and he switches out into his Crobat as we fire off a Mystical Fire, hoping to hit the Togedemaru. Fortunately, we do not, but Sylveon is back to 100 HP, and we'll just go for Protect to scout out what he does. And so I just kind of want to get a feel for what moves he has on his Crobat. If he doesn't have Cross Poison, I'm okay with keeping Sylveon in front of it. If he had it, I feel like he would have gone for it right there. As he just reveals that he most likely doesn't with Roost, Brave Bird, and U-Turn. His last move is probably Defog. So we take that opportunity to get our Aggron back up to health, and then switch out to Rillaboom as he brings in a Slowbro. As he shows a light screen, which is interesting. We have to try to hit his Slowbro pretty hard, but can't because he switches out to Crobat. And so we switch back out to our Aggron. He has to go for another Brave Bird. That does nothing to Mega Aggron. And I anticipated switching back out to Slowbro, which he does, as I risk the Rocky Helmet and go for a Heavy Slam, hoping to hit the Crobat. And so really what we're doing right now is just kind of biding our time, trying to maneuver ourselves into a free switch into Mew, into a good opportunity to set up on. Just trying to chip things down as much as I can right now and bide our time. Just trying to play patiently and safely. And here this is why we had the Berry. You know, we want to be able to take an Iron Head nicely and do some damage, but unfortunately we get the flinch, and so the Berry didn't actually do much for us at all besides maybe save differential. So that was unfortunate. We had the right item, just didn't work out for us. So, but we're all right. You know, still just kind of, you know, 20 turns in, just kind of maneuvering, trying to just kind of get a feel for each other's teams right now, which is just fine. And I saw this as a perfect opportunity to bring in X-Cloud and do as much damage as we can. We go for a Focus Blast soon here, I believe. We have to just go for Boom Burst. I thought that was going to do more than it did, and that's why I didn't just keep going for it. This Togedemaru was annoying. Oh my goodness. As we miss a Focus Blast, that had to have been, I mean, that would have KO'd it. I was going to go for a Wish. And next, I believe we go for a Icy Wind, anticipating him to switch out. Yep. Go for an Icy Wind, thinking he's going to switch out into something else as he goes for a Volt Switch now. And, which is smart, having a slow Volt Switch, which that's annoying. In fact, it is. This Togedemaru was slower than X-Cloud, allowing him free Wish Pass. But we missed another Focus Blast, which really unfortunate, but can't really, you know, be upset about that because nothing. I mean, that's the risk I run for running a 70% accurate move. But now we get a free switch into Mew. We know he's locked into play his kick. He's not gonna do anything to Mew Girl, and we're able to start setting up. And so we're able to start setting up Cosmic Powers, and then boost our health back. And then it's just a matter of, you know, we're in a position to start clicking buttons pretty soon here. As this turn we get the special defense drop, which is unfortunate, but it's okay. We go for the Roost. And actually, no, we go for another Cosmic Power to get our +3 defense. And now we are in a position to destroy. As you see, his Incineroar just goes down immediately to a Body Press. And then after his Incineroar is gone, it pretty much opens the entire game up for the rest of my team. His Incineroar was really the one thing that was stopping a lot of my teammates from putting in a lot of work against him. But now you see that his Slowbro is just going to kind of, you know, I mean, it's set up fodder for Mew at this point to finish setting up more Cosmic Powers, Roost up health, and we're able to get ourselves into a position where it's game over, and it's just inevitable at this point. As we're able to get rid of Togedemaru as well with another Body Press. And he decides to bring in his Garchomp, which surprisingly we were faster than it. He was anticipating, you know, I think he wanted to outspeed something like he made him just not have been anticipating a max speed Mew. And he was speed creeping something like Rillaboom or Rotom Fan, but we're able to maneuver or get rid of his Garchomp before Mega Evolves, and at this point it's just a matter of time now. And he kind of knows it, and so there's not really too much that he can do other than try to stall out some turns of my Cosmic Power and Stored Power. But at the end of the day here, my Golurk would be able to just completely waste his Slowbro and his Hatterene with a Poltergeist, and even his Crobat with Stone Edge. So, and Mega Aggron has a phenomenal matchup against Crobat. So there's really not much they can do at this point other than try to stall it out a little more, which is kind of unfortunate. It's never fun to be in that situation. But yeah, I mean, this kind of goes to show the power of Mew, and I think I'm getting a little more comfortable with Mew from week in and week out, getting better at using it. Finding sets that do really well against my opponent, and I was really happy to see it come through here and get the reverse sweep and kind of just show its power. Yeah, really strong. And so we have to go for one more Stored Power just to finish him off because we know it's going to do more than 40%. And now we don't outspeed his Crobat, but his Crobat can't do anything, and we're able to get up a free Roost and just tank everything from his Hatterene. He decides to go for the smart play and goes for the Mystical Fire on Mew, which was smart. It was the smarter play on his end versus, you know, going for a Shadow Ball, which we found out hindsight. His Hatterene was also choiced into a Choice Specs. but he's able to kind of stall out our stored power a little better with the mystical fires, and so eventually we just kind of opt to say, okay, fine, I'll go for body presses, and so that'll definitely. I mean, the crit was unfortunate, but it didn't really change anything in the outcome. It's still gonna be, you know, the same outcome. It's just a matter of time here. So we're able to remove his Hatterene, and then it's just Crobat standing in the way, and that's not going to be able to do anything to us. And a few weeks stored powers are plenty enough to finish Crobat off. So we're able to get out of week 2 with a 5-0 win. It by far that is the strongest win I have had in draft leagues. I've never had a 6-0. This 5-0 is the closest thing I've ever gotten to it. So we just had a phenomenal matchup going into this one. His team was kind of ill-suited to do much to me with how thick and bulky my team is, and then just having Mew to kind of just set up and go from there. So yeah, thanks for tuning in. We are now 2-0 and sitting atop the Moltres division standings, and looking to build off that next week against Fatty Jones and the Ascended Apoms. So stay tuned next week, and thanks for tuning in, guys. Peace.